Hello and welcome back to A Chance. My name is Philip Jones, and today we have a short but a goodie for you today. We have a presentation on mental health from Krista here. Krista, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Hi. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Philip. Krista Samimi here. I am a mental health advocate, and I have had my own mental health journey for a number of years, almost like 20 plus years, I guess now, and lots of experience caring for a family member with a mental health disorder. My dad had a lot of challenges with his mental health, so just kind of that perspective as well. And I'm also a wellness partner for a company called Amari Global. We are the mental wellness company, and we have holistic supplements that work on what's called the gut-brain axis. And I'll definitely talk a little bit about that as we get going.
Okay, great. Well, we're not gonna waste no time. Go ahead and get straight into your presentations, and I'll chime in with any questions I may have. Anybody in the chat, please drop your questions in the comments, and we'll relay them to Krista. When we get a chance to get to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are catching us live, drop a live in the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching this on the replay, drop a hashtag replay, and we will definitely circle back with you and answer any of your questions. And Philip kind of left it wide open and talking about, just mental health in general. So if you guys have specific questions or specific things around mental health that you would like me to talk about or share about, please do drop those in the comments so I can kind of tailor this presentation to kind of like what you're looking for. But I think it's kind of apropos that this podcast, LinkedIn Live, happened during Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'm sure you guys have been hearing a lot about that. And, mental health awareness is important, but I think what really is taking it kind of a step further is like mental health action and like really taking steps towards helping somebody who has a mental health disorder, or if you yourself are struggling with mental health and that sort of thing, like just knowing things that you can do to improve. And just a little backstory myself. So in 2001, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And it was very evident at the time that I had all the classic symptoms. And since my dad also had bipolar disorder, my family was very in tune to, okay, let's get, Krista to my dad's psychiatrist. So at that time, I was put on medications and was on medications for a number of years. And they seemed to work. but I would have a lot of like breakthrough symptoms, anxiety, depression, not feeling like myself. And, just kind of trudged along for many years. I had a really bad motto back then. It was fake it till you make it. And I had a smile on my face a lot of times. And on the outside, everything looked good. But on the inside, especially like a couple of years ago, I was struggling and I was not happy on the inside. And I was just putting on that front and just getting by and, fake it till you make it. And, so in 2019, I didn't want to, start another medication. I had a lot of like breakthrough symptoms. For me, depression shows up as feeling unmotivated, not like myself, not doing activities that I normally enjoy. I usually go to like yoga, work out, those kinds of things. Like I just didn't feel like myself. I was very unmotivated on the couch. And with my son, I have a 4-year-old, and he was 2 years old at the time. And I just remember him looking at me on the couch and just this innocent look of like, what is my mom doing? And so I just felt awful, right? Because I didn't feel like playing with him. I didn't feel like doing all of the things. And I just felt helpless, right? I was like, he is better off without me than me as his mom. Like that's how deep I was feeling this. And I was in a dark, dark hole. And if you've ever had depression, you can relate to what I'm talking about. Drop a relate in the comments, because when you have depression, it's like this dark cloud over your head and you just feel like you can't get out and you can't do all of the things. Like you just don't feel like yourself. And so I didn't want to, like, as much as like Western medicine and medications help me get through a lot of my bipolar manic episodes, at this time, like I just didn't want to take another medication, like because medication for me was like I was having so much like side effects. Like I wasn't myself. I was clouded. Hey, I just want to say hey to the chat. And so people are here. Hi, Sarah. Hey, from Phoenix, Dwylan. Hey, Jenny. Thanks for hopping on, you guys. So literally, and it's so ironic that Sarah hopped on because Sarah was like the catalyst in changing the trajectory of my mental health and wellness and introduced me to this incredible science of the gut-brain axis. I started to learn about it from Sarah Kilgore, and I like literally it gave me so much hope because I was like, wait, are you serious? Like my gut impacts my mental health? Like what's going on? Like I did not even, this was, almost 3 years ago, right? It hasn't been, now it's talked about a lot, like gut health and how important it is and being gut brain-tastic, as Dwylan says. Like I didn't know about this. And so I introduced from a friend of mine, Sarah, and she started, educating me on the science of the gut-brain axis and everything. It's not everything in our head. Like literally, like mental health is it's a broad spectrum, right? But so I literally learned about this science, and it was like life changing, because that was the catalyst. I started to take what's called like targeted nutrition for the gut brain axis. So I started taking holistic supplements that targeted the gut brain axis, that gave my body what it needed. You guys, 80 to 90% of serotonin and dopamine, which is our happy feel good neurotransmitters, 80 to 90% is produced in the gut. So if your gut is off balance, and it can be from stress, the foods you eat, if you've taken antibiotics, like for the gut can be out of balance for a variety of reasons. And that's where serotonin and dopamine is being made. So, it's really quick for doctors to be like, here, let me just write you an antidepressant. But a lot of times they don't even work, and they just come with a whole host of side effects. So I always encourage people, like if there is something available that is all natural and holistic, like why not try that first and see how that works, right? And it really did work for me. Like it pulled me out of my depression. Like I didn't want to take another medication. And I saw my dad suffer for so many years. Like, I always think of like the what ifs. Like, what if we had these solutions 4 years ago before he took his life? And I think about that, and I think about all the people out there that are taking sometimes these antidepressants, and they cause so much side effects, and some side effects are suicide. And I'm thinking, why are we giving people these chemicals that really aren't helping all the time? They do help sometimes, but I just think about my dad a lot, and that's where a lot of my passion and my purpose comes from, and why I always want to talk about mental health and normalize it, and break the stigma. Because the reason people don't get help a lot of times is because they don't want to identify as having like a mental health diagnosis, and people prevent themselves from getting help. But there are so many options now. I even connected with a woman on LinkedIn, um, and they I don't know a lot about it, but they do ketamine therapy, and it's like a psychedelic therapy that rebalances the whole body and stuff. And I that therapy, like, I just could only imagine, like, if I knew about that when my dad was alive, would that have gotten him out of his depression? He struggled. His medications didn't work, but he still took like a whole host of medications. Um, anyways, do you guys have any questions? I see that the chat is like agreeing that the gut is super important. The gut is our second brain, you guys. It literally is our second brain. And hey, Philip, what's up?
There is one question from Dwelling Williams in Arizona. He says, "Have you ever got any advice from a gastro? Jesus Christ, uh,
Gastroenterologist.
there you go,
That
about
one.
the gut brain axis."
I've never personally talked to a gastroenterologist, Wylan, but I've have a whole host of people that I work with that they like have Crohn's disease, celiac disease, all different types of GI disorders, and they do notice when when their symptoms are balanced and they're not having, constipation, diarrhea, all the GI side effects, like they're definitely more balanced in their mind, and that kind of thing. But that would be a good doctor for me to do some research on and chat with. Yeah, absolutely.
So, my question for you is, how much of your journey plays a role in how you help others with these same issues?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Philip. So, I mean, it's really would just like it's my passion, right? Like I remember days when I didn't have anybody to talk to and I didn't know where to go. But I just like want people to know like the importance of just reaching out to somebody and telling somebody like this is what's going on. And what's your question? Um, like my journey just like inspires me to reach more people, be on lives like this that people can come to. I do a lot of social media marketing on LinkedIn and Facebook and those places, and connect with people that are like-minded. But it's really my passion, and my experience with my dad has really driven me to do what I do, because I can only imagine if he was still here, I could help him. I have more resources now. I didn't have as many resources 4 years ago when he, took his life, but I definitely have more connections just being on social media. I've only really been on social media for a couple of years, and I've made so many connections in this space that would have been, really helpful for him.
Wow. So Dolan says that would be something also individual receiving endoscopy treatment could be aware of prior to a procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it seems like a lot of the stuff that you've learned over the past couple of years, you feel could play a major part. In I don't want to say it in such a bland way, but saving your dad from him, taking his life, and that's something I don't know what that feels like, so I'm gonna sit here and act like I do.
Yeah.
But I can just imagine, just off losing people of importance in my life in general, that can be something that's hard to live with. So my hat goes off to you for that, especially being able to talk about it consistently like you do. Um,
Yeah, I mean, like with my dad, like I have peace. I feel like that was his time. Like he was either gonna go like have a heart attack, be in a car accident, or do what happened, and that was just his time. And but of course, my mind swirls of the what ifs, like, oh, but what if I would have known about this resource and I told him about it? Um, but at the end of the day, I think everybody's time is everybody's time, and that's kind of just how he went. um, I mean, I spent so many years up until that point of like feeling like I was responsible for him. I was always caring for him and making sure he got his medications and got to his doctor's appointments and all of these different things. And um, but I would have times when if he didn't answer the phone, I thought I thought he was dead, because he tried to take his life multiple times before that. And so it was weird. Like when he finally did pass, this sounds kind of strange to say, but like it was almost like a relief. Like I found him and I was like, wow, like this time it worked. And I didn't have to like worry as much about him anymore because now he's passed on to the next life.
right.
But um, yeah, that's really where my motivation comes from, because I want to help as many people get the right resources, get what they need. And maybe that's not medication, because that's not really, I don't think someone should go to medication right off the bat if there's holistic options available, you know?
Well, let's talk about the difference in medication and holistic avenues to go down when dealing with mental health. Like, if they're prescribed one thing, what is something that realistic that they can go to instead, can take the place of that specific medication?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I experienced, like I was saying before, with my friend Sarah Kilgore, is being introduced to the science of the gut brain axis. And I've been taking holistic supplements. I do still take medications because I have to take something for my bipolar. But I started taking probiotics that are designed for mental wellness. Like you can go to the store and get, at Target, a probiotic, but the ones that I take are specifically designed to improve your mental wellness. So they lower anxiety, they lower stress levels, and it's just specific strains of bacteria in the probiotic that is designed to help with your mental health and wellness. And then I take like an all natural drink here called Edge. And Edge is for improving your mood. It's really helps your mind stay clear, mental focus, improves your motivation. So this is really good. I have a lot of clients that I work with that are just like not motivated, their mood's not good. And we get them on a supplement regimen, especially with this Edge that you drink. It's all natural, no sugar, no stimulants, nothing like that. So there's just all different ones that I work with, and I kind of tailor it to each person a little bit differently depending on their mental health needs.
Okay, great. Well, we're gonna go to a quick commercial real quick, and then I have a couple more questions for you, and then go ahead and end it.
Awesome.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a second chance. So, Krista, I have a couple questions for you. If you don't mind, can you dive a little deeper into the gut brain access?
Sure. Anything like specific, like how it works, or
Yeah, specifically how it works.
yeah. So the gut brain axis is simply okay. So our gut is all the organs involved in digestion. So it's your stomach,
Mm,
your intestines, your colon. All of that has trillions and trillions of bacteria. Some good bacteria, some bad bacteria, and the gut is constantly sending signals to the brain via the axis. So the axis is via our vagus nerve. So there's all kinds of signals. And I remember I was saying that 80 to 90% of your feel good neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin are actually made in the gut. So it's the serotonin dopamine is produced in the gut and then travels via the vagus nerve to the brain. So it's that whole coordinated system that's constantly talking to each other. And like I said, the communication is way more from the gut to the brain than the other way around. And so that's really a little bit about the gut brain axis and like what it is.
okay. My next one for you is that being that now mental health is being talked about a little bit more nowadays, do you see the percentage of people coming forward and saying like, "Hey, I have a problem"?
Mm-hmm. Well, the statistics are about 1 in 4 families are affected by a mental health disorder. I don't know if there's any sort of statistics, people coming forward, but I would definitely say there's more awareness and it's being talked about more. And I mean, compared to say 20 years ago, like when my dad, when I was in high school, like when things would happen and, he was not feeling right, like it was just sort of like swept under the carpet. We didn't talk about it in our family. But now I think with like social media and more people coming forward, and even like famous people coming forward that they have depression or bipolar or whatever, I think it's definitely talked about more, but there's always more work to be done, especially just around like the stigma. I I have a story with my husband. So before we got married, and I have done a lot of advocacy work over the years, done a lot of public speaking. And I don't know if you've ever tried to Google your name, but whenever somebody would Google my name, because before I got married it was Radoyevich, and there was only one Radoyevich when you Google, and it was me or my dad or something like that, but it was easy to find me. And I remember when I was like dating, I guys would Google my name and then they would see, like, even though it was good stuff, like I was doing advocacy and sharing my story and stuff, they find out I have bipolar and they like took the high road. So one quick story on my husband. One day we were in a coffee shop and we were working together, and I see that he's Googling my name, and I was like, oh dear, it's over now. It's totally over. Like, this is it. We've been dating for a whole 2 weeks. Like, it's not like you tell someone you're bipolar on date number 2, right? And this, I'm not kidding you. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I was just Googling your name. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, what is that? Are you cool? Like, what's going on? And he was like, wow. He's like, you're helping people, you're sharing your story. And in my mind, I'm like, is this guy for real? Oh my God. Needless to say, we've been married like 8 years, and I just appreciate that he sees me and my personality and who I am, and not a diagnosis, which, he obviously, those other guys are not the right ones for me. But and I was stigmatized. Like, even though I'm doing all this mental health work, I was like, oh my God, I was dying. I was like, I hope he doesn't find out that I have bipolar. But anyways, I don't know how I got on that tangent.
No, I mean, I can relate to that because for the longest I kept that I had kidney disease to myself, because I didn't want people to just see me as Philip the sick kid or, sick person or whatever. So I kept it to
Yeah.
myself till I got to college. And then once I started I ended up joining this teachers program, and we were doing a lot of traveling and things of that nature. And then my brain kind of went off and was like, idiot, you might want to tell somebody that you have kidney disease in case something happens and goes wrong. And so that was where I kind of started, telling people, that I had kidney disease. So I can relate to it. I understand it 100% for sure. Um, let's go into the company you said you work with now.
Yeah. I am partnered with a company called Amari Global, and we are the first holistic mental wellness company. Yeah, so we're all about, I mean, we have these awesome products, but we are all about, people, and we have programs, holistic programs. We're big advocates for like the mental wellness diet. I know that everybody, kind of has like a different diet, but like literally the food that we eat affects how we feel and our moods. um and then we have like mindfulness and meditation and just a whole host of programs that kind of go with it. But we are all about helping people level up with their mental wellness. Like, you don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to take care of your gut brain axis, because everybody has a gut, everybody has a brain, everybody, can benefit from really optimizing their gut brain axis. If you feel tired a lot, it can be related to your gut brain axis. If you're not sleeping good, all kinds of things. So if you guys want more info, definitely drop an info in the chat, and I'll circle back with you and get you some information on the gut brain access and the holistic supplements. But yeah, it's pretty powerful when you do take care of your gut, how good you start to feel.
Can you spell the website of the company that you work with?
It's Amare, but it's probably just easier if someone messages me directly.
Mm, okay.
Amare is Amare. Yeah, if you just put like info in the chat, I'll drop you a message. And I was also going to say some other resources that have helped me along the way. Like, if you are a family member and you have somebody that you're concerned about their mental health, or they're working on it, NAMI, which stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. If you want to drop that one, it's NAMI.org is their website, NAMI.org. And then for many years, I was associated with an organization called DBSA, and it's called Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance. That one is amazing. It's run by people who actually have depression or bipolar, and they have support groups across the country. So you can literally go to their website and type in your zip code, and you'll find a support group nearby. But being around other people, and I'm sure Philip, in like the kidney community, is just having like-minded people around you that you can talk to is so important. And same with the mental health. When I remember walking into a support group for the first time in, this is like 2002 or something, and people from all walks of life, I didn't know any of them, and they started talking, and I was like, oh, like, you believe things that weren't true, and you had delusions and paranoia and all this stuff. And talk about like no longer feeling alone and that it's all your fault or something's wrong with you, but just knowing that it's a health condition, right? My brain was just not working that way. So support groups are really powerful for me, and I was really grateful for Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance and for the NAMI. It was really good.
That's great to see that they have a website dedicated to support groups and things of that nature. I mean, I think uh, anybody dealing with some kind of health issue needs something like that where they can go and be able to find help and support, with whatever that they're
Absolutely.
dealing with. So Um,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Krista, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer.
Oh,
Definitely appreciate your time.
yeah.
Um, and all the great information that you gave us today. We'll definitely have you back uh, sometime in the near future because I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up with something. Something's gonna go on in his brain. This is like,
Okay.
I want to do a show on this, and I'm like, Krista, come. So,
Come back. You got
yep,
it.
yep. So, definitely, again, like I said, we appreciate your time for being on with us today, and everybody who's on watching, we appreciate you watching. If you're watching in the future, please hit hashtag replay. And you drop your questions in the comments there, and also we'll
Yeah.
come back to them and answer them
Mhm.
best we can. What was that,
Absolutely.
Krista?
I was just gonna say, if you do want more information on the gut brain access and the supplements that I take, definitely drop an info in the chat, and I will drop you a message.
Definitely. So we're gonna go ahead and end with this last video, and then we're out of here.
Awesome. Thanks, Philip.
Thank you.